All right, let's dive into a really critical issue in Pakistan's legal world, the huge gender gap in the leadership of its bar councils. We're going to walk through the key findings from a brand new report by the Women in Law Initiative, and it takes a really hard look at the upcoming 2025 elections. So, why is this such a big deal? Well, this quote from the report really gets right to the heart of it. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about the very foundation of justice. What they're saying is simple. If you don't have diverse voices at the table, the whole legal system can end up unbalanced and, frankly, pretty unfair. And this number is at the center of everything we're talking about today. 4%. Just 4% of all the candidates running for Pakistan's most powerful legal bodies in 2025 are women. Let's really dig into what that number means. So first things first, we have to understand this core idea from the report, the missing gender lens. And this isn't just about jobs for female lawyers. It's about how that absence affects the fairness of the entire legal system for everybody. So what exactly is a gender lens? Well, the report defines it as a viewpoint that actually takes into account the different experiences that women have. Their needs, their circumstances. When that perspective is missing, when laws are being made, you can accidentally end up creating policies that just reinforce old inequalities. And the real-world fallout from this? It's huge. Policies don't reflect the reality for almost half the population. It directly impacts people in the courtroom, especially women and children. And get this, these elections only happen once every 5 years. So this imbalance, it gets locked in for a long, long time. Okay, let's circle back to that staggering 4% figure and look at the big national picture. This is where the data really shows you the sheer scale of the problem across the whole country. Wow. I mean, when you see it laid out like this, it is just stark, isn't it? That tiny sliver of 4% against a sea of 96%. It's a massive visual imbalance right from the get-go before a single vote is even cast. Let's put some real numbers to that percentage. We're talking about 638 lawyers in total running for these incredibly influential positions across the country. And out of all of them, just 24 are women. The numbers alone tell a really powerful story. And if you think that 4% candidacy figure is low, check this out. The funnel gets even narrower from there. The number of women who actually win a seat is even lower. In the last election cycle, it was only 2%. So going from a candidate to a council member is a seriously uphill battle. Okay, so that's the big picture. But national averages can sometimes hide what's really going on at a local level. So now let's take a look at the regional data, because that grim 4% average actually masks even bigger gaps in some places. So this table gives us the full breakdown. You can see right away that Punjab, Sindh, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa are all sitting right at that 4% national average. But then, your eyes drift down the table. Baluchistan is at just 2%. And the federal capital, Islamabad, it's even worse. This chart, though, this really just drives the point home. Look at those huge bars for male candidates, next to the tiny, almost invisible bars for female candidates. It shows you it's not just a percentage thing. It's the raw numbers. It's a visual gut punch. And then there's this. This might just be the most shocking stat in the entire report. In Islamabad, the nation's capital, there are 21 candidates running for the Bar Council, and not a single one is a woman. 0. So this all begs the question, right? Why? Why is this happening? Well, the report points to some pretty clear systemic barriers, a problem it calls shifting the goalposts. And the problem is really twofold. It's kind of like a 1-2 punch. On one hand, you have what's missing. There are no reserve seats, no affirmative action policies to help level the playing field. But on the other hand, you have what's being added, new hurdles like tougher technical requirements that often pop up right before an election. So what does that actually look like, shifting the goalposts? Well, it happens through changes to the law. These amendments add new, more technical eligibility rules. For example, a new rule might require a candidate to have argued a specific number of cases all on their own. And the report argues that these kinds of rules hit women and younger lawyers the hardest, since they already face more barriers in their careers. And here is the real kicker. The legal tool to actually help fix this problem, it already exists.
Pakistan's own constitution allows for affirmative action to make sure women can participate fully in national life. But ironically, when it comes to the legal profession's very own leadership bodies, those provisions haven't been used. So let's pull back and ask the big question. Why should all of this matter to everyone, not just female lawyers? Well, the report makes it crystal clear that this is about the health of the entire nation's justice system. At the end of the day, the report argues that fair representation isn't some special interest issue. It's a constitutional and democratic necessity. It leads to better laws, more inclusive leaders, and a justice system that's stronger and more credible precisely because it actually reflects the diverse country it's supposed to serve. And that really brings us to the final, powerful question that all of this data leaves us with. It's a question for Pakistan's legal community, for its lawmakers, but it's also one for all of us to think about. Can a system of justice ever be truly just if half the population has virtually no voice in its leadership? What does real justice even look like?